This is the iGo Urban. It's one of their more affordable electric bikes that actually features this mid-drive right here, middle motor, that leverages the gears on the back. And the idea there is that it keeps the weight low, centered, and it also lets you, basically the same way that you pedal. You know, if you're climbing a hill, you go to a low gear. If you're trying to go fast, you go to a high gear. Well, the motor benefits from that, and that gives you extended range and a little bit better climbing ability. This isn't the fanciest mid-drive out there. It doesn't sense when you're changing gears, so it can kind of go kunk, kunk, kunk. You can kind of pull on the cassette. But if you ride it properly, it actually works fairly well. And again, it's like $15.99, free shipping in Canada. It's like $100 more than that if you're in the US. And it can work pretty well. So I'm gonna go over the bicycle aspects of this. You got these nice Well-Go pedals, good grip, big platform, so they give you plenty of space to put your foot and not slide off. That I like that. And speaking of sliding around, they've got the fender on the front, and then the battery pack almost acts like a fender. It's pretty well sealed in here. It's this plastic case. One of the things that kind of the downside of the plastic case is it can kind of rattle around, you know, when you're riding like that. But, you know, it stays in there pretty well, and it's got a rack built in, so you could use some panniers. Make sure you don't, you know, get ones that are too long though, because there's really nothing to keep them from kind of getting snagged in the wheel back here. You've got these nice standard 26-inch wheels. They've got hybrid tires, so you know they can work all right on like a light trail or gravel like this. They've got a little bit of grip, but this thing isn't really designed to go off-road too much. And if you are on the bumps, you'll notice that the light can kind of bounce around on that front fender while you're riding, but at least it has lights. They're both wired into the battery pack, which is great, and you can control them off of this main little console that's fairly easy to reach while you're riding. It's got 8 speeds with a grip shifter, nice ergo grips there. Shimano Alivio, so again, budget-minded. I like that, given that this thing is like 56 pounds, it's not the lightest electric bike. It's got disc brakes, and they're mechanical, 160 millimeter rotors, quick release, by the way, on the wheels, which is nice. And then there's also, let's see, no worries about having to change your wheels or tires, because the motor and drive systems are all in the center. So it's kind of like a regular bike in that sense, that the wheels are just sort of standard. In terms of riding this thing around, you've got just a adjustable stem right here, sort of like the mini riser handlebars. And the brake levers are pretty cool. They actually cut off power to the motor, so you've got a separate cable there, which is nice because this has like a 5 sensor cadence sensor right here. It's not the fanciest one on the market. It doesn't cut out quite as quickly. And so if you were pedaling this in pedal assist and you stop pedaling, the motor still goes for a little while, which you'll see in the video. And you can stop the motor immediately by pulling the brakes. So keep that in mind. You know, again, this is one of the more affordable electric bikes out there, especially with the mid-drive setup that it has. And it's sort of about learning how to work with the bike. Like if you're gonna switch gears, you know, do it when you've got some momentum and the motor isn't actually pulling really hard, because that'll, you know, pull real hard and mash the gears. If you need to stop quickly and get the motor to stop, you pull the brake lever. So I think you get the idea. Got a nice suspension fork up front that does provide some cushion. It's even got a lockout, so you could reduce bobbing, which would just give you even more efficiency if you're on a smooth road. Now in terms of the drive system, what we've got here is sort of a custom designed 250 watt middle motor. And it was actually designed by iGo around 2005 when they first started selling these, and they've been refining it since then and getting tighter and tighter in terms of how it connects and how it responds. It's relatively quiet, actually, and it's going to get you about 20 miles per hour top speed depending on the gear that you're in back here. The battery is pretty high quality. Samsung cells inside, lithium, manganese, cobalt, lightweight, long-lasting, good stuff, 36-volt, 10-amp-hour. Keeping the battery high and rear like this isn't my favorite, but at least the motor is low and in the center. So again, it's sort of about trade-offs with this bike. Considering the price, you get a pretty decent setup. So, oh, and I like that you can actually remove the keys even when the bike's on. Some bikes make you leave the key in and it can fall out, or it won't fall out. It can jingle, which I'm not a huge fan of. So I'm gonna kind of hop on this thing and show you how it works. You just turn the on switch. Here's the lights, can activate. Right now I'm in high. There are 3 levels of assist. It's always in some assist level. And as soon as you start pedaling, it listens and it just kicks on. So it's not quite as smooth as if this was torque sensing or speed sensing, but keep that in mind. You can also use the throttle in combination with assist, and that's kind of a nice way to start because it's a little smoother. Let's just do it. I'm in high. You can hear the battery banging around a little bit like I was mentioning before. Not too bad. There you go. Let's take it out on the road. There we go. Not bad. So that's the iGo Urban middle drive electric bike. For the full specs on this, comments and pictures, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com.